Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. We have some more King of Fighters 15 news for you in the way of a 4-gamer interview with SNK. So there was quite a lot about the King of Fighters 15 at the Tokyo Game Show, and those links will be at the end of this video if you didn't see any of that. And this just gives us a little bit more info to work with at the state of the King of Fighters 15, what the plans are going forward, and how the game is going to be shaping up. These are select excerpts from the interview itself. If you want to see the interview in full, please check the video description. Keep in mind, being a Japanese interview, we are relying on a machine translation, which is for the most part fine, except for the very last thing, which we'll talk about at the end. So first off, our question is, when did King of Fighters 15 basically start, right? So King of Fighters 14 came out in 2016. When did the beginning of KOF 15 start? And they said basically pre-production began after 14 was finished, but mainline production began at the end of Samurai Showdown. Keep in mind, SNK, not a massive studio anymore these days, right? So limited resources to work with. Our next question, it's been about 2 years since the title was originally announced. How is development going? Did development itself proceed as expected? Obviously not, right? Because of the delay. However, past that original delay, expect it to be delivered February 17th, 2022. Basically on time, there should be no more issues. Now this next question, not a real big shocker, but so we have 39 characters in total and we have 6 planned DLC characters that you have announced. Will there be anything past that? And yes, of course, there will be more DLC characters past the original 6 announced ones. As for when, though, that is currently undecided. Definitely not going to be day one, otherwise they would have announced that by now. That we'll have to wait and see when the time frame for these DLC characters will be. The next question actually gives us a little bit of a hint at 14 and thus 15's story. So talking about how Ash Crimson is back from the dead now in 15, and they talk about 15 and 14's story by saying they looked at KOF 13 and said, imagining the gravitational waves of enormous energy that connects the past and present space-time, did it affect something? Because Ash Crimson's story, if you're unaware, has a lot to do with like weird confluctuations of time, I guess. Like the climax of 13 is Ash killing his great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather and thus eliminating himself from existence. So all this time messery seems to have led to perhaps the birth of Verse and then all the issues of all the dead people coming back to life in 14 and 15. Now there's a chain of questions talking about Shatter Strike, and basically they're saying the TGS build, the one we saw and all the gameplay from therein, the build is it's a little strong right now, and they're definitely looking at changing it in the future. It's still many months till the game launches, so don't expect anything you see now to be final, and Shatter Strike in its current balance is going to be one of those things. Speaking on max mode specifically, it is now 2 bars instead of 1, so you have some incentive to do anything besides max mode in the middle of combos. However, they don't see a lot of people just using raw max in 14, because why would you? It's your combo move, right? So now raw max comes with a damage boost, and also it makes you do more guard damage. So you have like a guard bar you can break in King of Fighters. So if you're in your raw max, you can do a lot more guard damage, and so hopefully the raw max is a lot more attractive. We've already seen quite a few touch of death combos now from raw max mode activation. So at the very least, that's there, right? That'll definitely draw some eyeballs. Directly following up, speaking about EX moves, now they can be done at any time, right? They're no longer tied to max mode like they were in the King of Fighters 14. And it says here specifically, since they can be done at any time, there has been some EX moves that have been tweaked. Just to make them not as strong as they used to be. One of the ones I immediately noticed is Athena's EX Cycle Ball. While certainly still very decent, doesn't seem to be quite as strong as it was in 14 because they knew it was tied to the fact you had to max mode activate first. Although directly following from that, basically the question is, yo, Terry's EX Burn Knuckle some bullshit, and they're like, yeah, it is. So they're definitely still invested in keeping certain moves quite strong and powerful. Moving on to another question and talking about rollback netcode. Basically asking, was there a lot of requests from players for rollback netcode? And yes, obviously enough there was. In particular, many people from overseas asked us to use the rollback method. Then saying, I think rollback method will become a must due to things like coronavirus and the changing world. And that many players from overseas is basically literally everyone who doesn't live in Japan. And of course, to give a very Japan answer following directly from that, Oda-san has to immediately burn a lot of goodwill by saying, I think delay method is better for players who have good internet environment. However, when it comes to playing against distant players, I think the rollback method is easier to fight. A good internet environment basically means when you're in a very small country like Japan with among the best internet in the world, right? Anywhere else, not so much. It's a very Japan-centric answer. Like, I live in Ontario, Canada. You can fit multiple Japans in Ontario, let alone the rest of Canada and United States, right? But thankfully, even though he holds that opinion, we're still getting the rollback, so it's all good there. And our final question, which is sure to rile some people up here, I think it's a casualty of the machine translation specifically, talking about how KOF 2002 Unlimited Match has rollback netcode, which is amazing netcode, by the way. Oda-san states, depending on the game system, it may be easy to roll back or it may be difficult to roll back, but I feel like KOF 2002 is suitable for the combo system. However, if you adjust the game to roll back too much, the KOF-ness will be lost, so it's difficult to adjust it with 15. There is no elaboration beyond this statement. So for what this actually means, once again, I think this is a victim of the machine translation. I think they'd be talking about adjustable rollback, like in 2002, you can adjust how many frames of rollback you have, because combos in 2002 will be like, nothing in 15 will be as hard as 2K2 combos, straight up. So it's not like having rollback netcode would make 15 worse in that way, because nothing in this game would be as hard as 2K2. It could also be that talking about how when you max mode activate, regardless if it's raw or if it's in the middle of the combo, there's a little bit of a time stop effect now, versus like 2002 would just go right into it. So it could be that they're saying that they are making adjustments like that in mind. I don't know. It's a very odd question, and I feel it's very butchered by the machine translation, just like back in the day when they announced rollback netcode originally, the wording was very suspect due to the translation, and a lot of people are like, well, is it going to have rollback netcode or isn't it, right? So I think this is kind of in that same category. The link to the article, once again, is in full in the video description, so if you can actually read Japanese and can enlighten us all, that'd be fantastic. But that's the interview as it stands. I'm very thankful it's there. They give us some nice confirmations, like, yes, the announced DLC, there's going to be more past that, hopefully lots and lots and lots more. We'll see how it goes. And there's definitely going to be balance changes. The TGS build, whether you had some quibbles or not, right, that is definitely not the final build of the game, and there definitely is more to come. I myself found Shatterstrike a little bit too strong in the TGS build of the game, and, well, it seems to be that's what they think as well, and it's going to be addressed one way or the other, and it could be the case for many other issues. But that, in the end, is what we have for now. We had the big character reveal trailers. Probably next week will be our next character reveal, and we'll start filling out some of those teams. We still have the big mystery team. But at the very least, the developers are open to talking about stuff, they're open to discussion, and they're open to change, right? So that basically just gives me more hope for the product, and I already have very high hopes as it stands. I'm really looking forward to the game, and I hope you are too. But that all said and done, my friends, we are now at the end of the video, so thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some King of Fighters.